Hi everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to this edition of Missoula Live. Neil has to lower the volume on the monitor on the stack so that there's a lot of feedback. And this is Kim Anderson, my co-host.
Hi, I am on the board of MCAT, and I am also the Director of Programs and Grants for Humanities Montana.
Any Humanities Montana news you want to share?
Any big news?
Yeah.
Let me see. No.
Okay, good. Happy holidays.
It's the Thanksgiving week. Yes, I left a pretty empty office over there.
Nice.
I know.
I would have this to say about MCAT, and Neil, if you could show the website, that would be good for the people. But we are soliciting kids from the ages of 9 to 13 to be part of our winter media camp that's coming up in the break between Christmas and New Year's. And is it 3 days, Neil? Maybe 4. It's 3 days? It's 3 days, $99, scholarships available, and it's during the school hour. So there'll be a pre-care at 8 a.m. Kids can hang out till 3:30, 3:45. And if you parents out there watching want something for your kids to do in that long vac between the holidays, consider it. You can check it out at mcat.org or give us a call at 542-6228. The other thing I want to ask Neil about, he's our technical director today. Are you doing drop-in this Saturday even though it's a Thanksgiving weekend? He thinks so.
Okay.
So,
good chance.
Good chance. Call us just to confirm. But every Saturday since, I don't know, early September, Neil and Scott have been hosting kids of the same age group, 9 to 13, to do stop animation here at MCAT. They use those little things.
The little Legos or
and
claymation, right?
Right.
Or lots of options.
Yeah, they make tons of these little things. Maybe Neil will show some during the break in between.
They've done amazing productions. I mean, they're really creative.
And really patient because they take a picture, I think 30 for 1 second. So 30 little pictures, and the kids move their objects around, then they do voiceover or they create a soundtrack. This happens every Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m. for a nominal fee of $10.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. So we should move right along. Amy Allison Thompson is here, Executive Director of the Poverello Center, Missoula, and also Captain Josh Boyd of the Salvation Army. Welcome, both of you. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Now, typically in December, November, around the holidays, we turn our show over to guests that are helping the neediest. And it makes me think of that New York Times. You had spent time in New York. Sometimes in the New York Times, you'll see a little block, and it says, "Remember the neediest," with an exclamation point.
Right.
Nothing more than that, But in any event, I've invited you both to come on together to talk about what the needs are for the less fortunate in the community, as you guys see it, and then we may get on to that warming shelter after you have a chance, though, to talk about the organizations, an overview a little bit, and so on.
Sure. Josh, you want to go first?
Okay. So Christmas time, the holidays is a really busy time for the Salvation Army. One of the things we are focusing on really heavily this time of year is our Red Kettle campaign, putting those red kettles out in front of the stores and having the folks ring the bell. And that's one of our largest fundraisers of the year, and it allows us to help people at Christmas time, but also to fund our programs all year round. And so it's a huge effort for us, and one that's really important to us. This year, our goal is actually $80,000. We're hoping to make $80,000 from the campaign, so we're looking forward to seeing how that goes. One thing we're asking the community this year, more than ever, is that we're looking for volunteers that want to ring the bell. It's a wonderful experience. I've done it many times myself. I did it growing up as a kid. I've done it as an adult. I did it a couple days ago. It's a fun experience because you get to meet people and talk to people, share with people. Essentially just ringing that bell and greeting people and wishing them a nice day, or wishing them when it becomes a little later in the season, a Merry Christmas and things like that. And so it's a wonderful way to spend some time giving back, and it's a holiday tradition you can start. I know a lot of people that do it as their holiday tradition. So we're asking folks, if they're interested, just to sign up and to volunteer, to go to volunteer.usawest.org. And they can sign up online, and that'll go right to us and let us know where they want to go and when they want to go, and that would be wonderful.
Volunteer.usa.west.
usawest.org.
.org. He just had it on
Oh, did
the
he?
monitor.
Oh,
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Yes.
Okay.
And how many kettles and bell ringers are out in the community at any given time?
We've got 18 different sites.
Wow.
All of them are open just now, but starting the day after Thanksgiving, they'll, all 18 will be open and available and ready to go. So it's an exciting time. It's a busy time for us, and it goes all the way through New Year's Eve. So, or sorry,
Christmas Eve.
Not New Year's Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yes. So.
And Josh, could you tell people a little about the Salvation Army facility on Russell? We were talking earlier that you guys are subject to a lot of traffic changes now with all the improvements to the road and bridge.
Yeah, that's true. We're just about 3 years now into the new building. It's been a wonderful resource for us. It's been a wonderful place to be able to continue to provide our services. We have a beautiful hygiene center in there where folks come in on a daily basis to take a shower, to do a load of laundry, and that's been a wonderful addition for us. And we're able to rent that building out. It's got some nice meeting spaces, and so a lot of community agencies have meetings there and have different kinds of conferences there and different things like that, different events. And so it's nice to be able to make that available to the community because it is a beautiful building. And so we're just really blessed to be there, and it's been a wonderful resource for us in continuing to help serve the community.
And Amy, your Poverello Center is relatively new as well, right?
Yes, we've been in that location for 4 years in December.
Oh, it's already 4 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
see, that's
It goes so
shows our
fast.
age.
I
We're
know.
like, that's just, they
And
just
the
go
same
fast.
when
4 years
Captain
ago.
Boyd said 3 years. I mean, it seems like that building
Yeah,
just
that was
went
just
up.
up there as well.
It's amazing.
Yep, everyone says that when we tell them.
I know.
It's been
4 years.
Yes.
So you want to give people who may be hiding under a Missoula rock
Sure.
a little bit of overview of the POV and what the POV does.
Sure, absolutely. So the POV is primarily an emergency shelter and soup kitchen. We serve 400 to 500 meals per day out of our soup kitchen. There's a great article in the Missoulian yesterday
Yes.
that talks a lot about how complex it is to run that kitchen. It's a very cool thing, but we really make all of those 400 to 500 meals out of food that we've rescued from the community, from grocery stores and restaurants. And it's really a mixed bag what we get each day, and then we have to be very creative with what
Yeah.
That's what the article
I
suggests.
never thought of that until I read the article.
Yes.
What a challenge.
It's fantastic, though, and we just have a really great crew working in the kitchen. And then we also provide emergency shelter. This year, we decided to set a cap on the number of people that we're serving. In the warmer months, that's 150. In the colder months, that's 175. And that has been a challenge for us because before this, we had not set a limit. And so last winter, we saw actually 205 people in in February overnight.
Wow.
And we found really that was more than we really could serve in a way that was with dignity and respect, and
Exactly.
to really provide the services that were needed at that time. And so we really had to take a time to evaluate that with staff and our board, and we did determine those limits on the number of people we could serve. So we really can focus on, again, that dignity and respect, and also being able to really support people as they search for housing and to be a resource for those folks. When we have 200 people in the building, it's just very challenging to do.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And could we just take a minute, you guys are more expert, and to talk about the popular vision of the homeless versus the reality of people that don't have a place to live. And by that I mean, a lot of people want to believe that people that are without homes are all guys who want to drink and are out there on purpose.
Sure. I mean, I would say homelessness is just as complex as each person experiencing it. What reason that has led them to become homeless is so varied. But I do think that there is a stigma around that kind of older male that is experiencing homelessness because of addiction. And unfortunately, that's not it. You know, we have families, lots of families in our community that are unsheltered. We have a lot of veterans that are unsheltered in our community. And we have people, you know, that could be your next door neighbor. I mean, as we know, I think it was last year there was a study done that 40% of Americans likely could not come up with $400 for an emergency.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you really think about that, really many of us are susceptible to that. And so, and it varies too, the length of time people experience homelessness. You know, at the POV we see folks stay on average about 25 nights, but 30% of the people we serve stay 3 nights or less. And so we
interesting.
serve, you know, a good portion of people who really come stay with us for a short time are able to get back on their feet and we don't see them again. And then folks who have more significant barriers to stay with us longer. And so I think when people come up with this idea that, you know, people come to stay at the POP forever, or we serve just this kind of person who doesn't want to work, that kind of thing is just not accurate. And in fact, 40% of the people we serve are working at least part-time. And so I think there are a lot of pieces of information that are missing, I think, in that bigger kind of picture.
Yeah. Captain Boyd, can you talk a little bit about who the Salvation Army serves?
Absolutely. I think what Amy was talking about was really right on. The homelessness doesn't really have a really like a stereotypical picture. This is a homeless person. Some people have that in their mind, but the reality is it's so much different. It varies so much. We had a woman we were working with recently who was pregnant and has a 4-year-old daughter, and nobody in her life knew that she was homeless, but she was living in a storage unit that she had. She had enough money to pay for the storage unit and keep her belongings, but not enough money to pay the rent. And so nobody in her life knew that at night after she got done with her daughter at daycare and done with her work and everything like that, that she was going to sleep in a storage unit. And it was that was fairly recently, so it was already pretty cold.
Very cold.
Not a good situation at all. But no one in her life would have ever guessed, no one would have ever known, because she was living what seemed to be a normal life. But she's homeless. And I think there's a lot of people out there that would fit that kind of definition that you might not even realize that someone you're working with or talking to could be homeless and facing homelessness.
Yeah.
And so it's just a widespread problem that affects everyone from every age to every gender. It doesn't have any kind of specifics. It just affects everyone. And especially with how difficult housing is in Missoula right now. It's just a huge
Super
challenge
good point.
in this place.
Can you give us some sense of what the estimates are of the homeless situation in Missoula County?
I think that's a moving target a little bit. You know, every year we participate as a community in the point in time count. I know last year that point in time count was around 300 people were identified at that time as being homeless. I think one of the exciting things that we're implementing in our community is a homeless management information system that has just gone live recently as a part of our coordinated entry system, which is another kind of can of worms that I could talk for a long time about. Basically, it's a system where many service providers in the community have come together to start addressing homelessness as a group. And so the Salvation Army is at the table for that. The YWCA, you know, 211, many organizations are together working on that. And basically, the exciting part about that is we're using the same data system. And so that is going to give us a better sense at any given time of how many families are experiencing homelessness, how many veterans are experiencing homelessness, and individuals. And so I think we'll have a better idea of that as we get rolling with that outside of that point in time count.
I had just come from a city meeting where the communications director for Missoula County Public Schools, they estimate 400 to 500 homeless families attending school in the county.
Yep, and I think that's absolutely true. And the school system does look at homelessness a little bit differently than the system that we use. We look at literal homelessness, and schools use what's called the McKinney-Vento definition of homelessness. So it's a little bit different. But yes, it's a big issue in our community.
I think just for viewers watching, you know, they just have to think of a few things like Imagine you want to rent an apartment for a small family, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment in Missoula, which means it's going to be about $750 to $1,000 a month. But the standard property management company is going to want first and last and security. So
That's
suddenly, the people that can't provide $400 in an emergency need $3,000 to get
Yeah.
off the street. It's never going to, well, it will, it can
It's very
happen, but
challenging.
I just want people
yeah.
at home to think of the burden that
Absolutely,
may
absolutely.
provide, or situations in which people are coping, let's say with a divorce or separation, there's a sudden loss of an income stream, and kids are often with their moms anyway, and they're couch surfing, and the couch surfing runs out for
Right.
a little while, you know, for a week, for 3 days, like they're piecing together like a patchwork quilt the semblance of having a roof over their head. And then there are gaps. And what do you do in the gaps? Go out when it's 20 degrees?
So clearly, there's kind of a gap, I don't know if you want to get into this now, between the limit that the Poverello Center has and the number of homeless people that are out there most nights. And so you're both working together in some ways to try to come up with some sort of short-term solution. Is that right, Captain Boyd?
Yes. What we're trying to do, and what we would like to do, is to open a winter shelter that would be an option for folks who aren't able to find shelter anywhere else. Because with the temperatures being what they are, being outside and sleeping outside in these conditions can really be the difference between life and death. And we want to take that very seriously and want to meet that need the best way we can. So the agencies that have been working on this over the past year or so kind of came to a realization about 3 weeks ago that there just wasn't going to be able to be a winter shelter this year. And so at the Salvation Army, we sat down and thought, well, could we make it happen? Could we, at this late date, without any planned funding or anything like that, could we maybe be able to pull this off with the city, to be able to pull off the funding and just make this happen? And so that's been our challenge and what we've been working on for about the past 3 weeks or so. And many people probably have heard about some of the things that are happening with the city council, and we're looking to receive approval to have it in our building temporarily until March, the end of March. The biggest challenge that we're facing, the biggest challenge that we're facing really is just finding the funding, because this was not a program we planned to do. It wasn't something that was part of our regular budget. And so we're trying to find the funds to be able to make it happen. And so we would love to be able to open it today if it was possible. We just don't have the funds right now to make that happen. So we're ready and we're willing, but we need the money to make it happen. And so we're pursuing several different avenues of funding in the community, trying to find out what the right source is going to be and how to make that happen so that we can pull this together just as soon as possible.
Well, every day that passes, it gets colder. So this is really important work, and it's incredibly impressive that you are stepping into the void that you realized was going to be there, and that you're all working together on the issue. So if people want to be of help, what can individuals do? They can put money in the kettles, right?
And volunteer to ring the bell.
Volunteer to ring the bells. What else?
Once we're able to get off the ground and get running, we'll also want some volunteers, folks who might be willing to spend the night there at the Salvation Army building, being able to kind of attend to the shelter, make sure folks that are there are safe and warm and being well taken care of. And so that'll be a need that we're going to have in the near future. As we continue forward, we would, at the winter shelter, we would need some simple items like simple hygiene kind of items, socks, things like that. And I know that the Poverello always needs those kinds of items as well. So those are things that are also helpful and can be really useful and make a real difference.
And Amy, there are always opportunities to help at the Poverello Center, is that right?
Absolutely. We definitely, like Josh said, are in need of socks. We're in need of toiletries at any given time. We can also use things for our kitchen. Thanksgiving is coming up in just a couple of days. We still need some staples for the kitchen, so if people are at Costco or want to grab some groceries for the POV, we can still use things like cream of mushroom soup and green beans butter and sugar and coffee, just some of those main kind of staple items that really round out our holiday meal. We also will need similar things for Christmas. We always do a huge meal on Thanksgiving and Christmas days to try to make that a special meal for folks who don't have anywhere else to go, and so that's super important. We also can use volunteers around the holidays to help with food prep. We, for Thanksgiving, cook 40 turkeys to prepare for that, and so of course we only have one oven, and so that's very challenging. So we basically honestly start cooking turkeys about a month ahead of time, and then we pick them apart off of the bones, and then we freeze them until it's time for Thanksgiving. We thaw them out and get them going again. So there's just a lot of working parts there in terms of those meals, so we can always use help with that. And then we can always use volunteers. So absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you both for taking the time and for doing the work you're doing in the community.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really appreciated.
Thank you for having us.
You're most welcome. And we'll be right back with Jane Kelly. She's coming from the City of Missoula Office of Neighborhoods to talk about a very interesting opportunity to learn more about city government coming up in January, and right after this.
Saturday Drop-Ins return for their third year of stop animation and media fun. Every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m., your kid can work with Legos, play, and more to make their characters come to life. Animation isn't the only reason to stop in. Hi! Your kids can experience media through editing, voiceover, and short films. Games and activities to keep your kids busy all Saturday afternoon, starting September.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
You can't sit here.
Don't add her to the chain.
It was just a joke.
We're not friends.
Why are you talking to me?
He started it.
She's so gross.
Lame. Loser.
Weirdo.
I've said and done things before that I'm not proud of.
Just as I've been hurt by others.
The thing is, this is not who I am. And it's definitely not who I want to be.
I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to spread gossip.
I don't want to be a body shamer.
I don't want to exclude anyone.
I don't want to make anyone feel lonely,
left out, hurt.
We have the power to be more.
We can create a kinder world.
It's not that hard.
We just need to stop.
take a moment,
And consider others.
before we speak.
And before we act.
Be more.
Be more.
Be more.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
All right, we
Here we
are
are.
back with Jane Kelly from the City of Missoula Office of Neighborhoods. Welcome, Jane. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thanks for inviting me.
So the buzz is the Citizens Academy. What is it all about?
Okay, the Local Government Citizens Academy is something that is near and dear to my heart. I've been working on it for many years, and I've never had enough staffing to be able to pull it off.
Okay.
So I worked with people in Dubuque, Iowa, and in Los Angeles to collaborate with him on how to put this on.
Wow.
And so I've had everything all ready to go,
Yeah.
but I was just waiting for the perfect time. And the perfect time happened. Heather, City Council member Heather Harp, went to Marty Rapine and said, you know, I'd like to put on a Citizens Academy. And Marty said, you need to talk to Jane.
Because you've been
All the work done.
working on it for years.
Yes, and I have all the work done. So I was able to put it together very quickly and confirm all the presenters. We have everything in place. We are just looking for a couple of venues, but we have it pretty much all in place. And it's 8 sessions, 2 hours each, and it'll start January 15th and run through March the 5th. We'll have light snacks for everybody, and on the very last one, we will have graduation and a meal.
Excellent. So if people sign up for Citizens Academy, they're committing to about 16 hours of learning, contact, interaction.
That's right.
What are they going to learn about?
Okay, well, I'm going to use my little sheet here.
That's
There's
okay.
Lots of information. The first one is going to be about neighborhood councils and community forum. And by the way, this is sponsored by the Office of Neighborhoods and Community Forum, and they've provided funding for it.
Okay.
We'll learn about how to get involved with your neighborhood councils. And the second part will be, we'll learn all about Missoula County Public Schools. Mark Thane, the superintendent, will be there, and it'll be at Hellgate High School, and I think he's going to give us a tour of the new.
Oh, yeah, the new library
yeah.
there and all kinds of
Yeah.
to-do.
And so then the next week, we're going to have city government and city engagement, how the city government works, guiding principles and vision, and the 3 branches of government. So the mayor will speak, Judge Jenks will speak, and city council president Brian von Lossberg will speak, and we may have other city council members too. And then the third week, we will have Keeping Safe in Missoula. We will tour Fire Department Station 4, and we will have the fire chief and the chief of the police, and we'll learn about how the men and women of the fire department and the police department keep us safe. So that's very exciting.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the fire trucks.
There's a pole over there. Is 4 is out on Broadway?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we've
Right.
gone off into the one, just down the block for summer camps.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So the next one it will be in February already. We're going to do recreating and quality of life in Missoula. It'll be a presentation about the Parks and Rec program and also the Department of Housing and Community Development. We will have Donna Gawkler and Erin Peahan will present then. February 12th, Public Works, wastewater treatment plants, storm sewer utility, streets, and Missoula water. That's ambitious. Where does it come from and where does it all go?
Right.
That's good.
And so, and also what's going on in Missoula streets. And that will be held at Missoula Water. February the 19th, we have Creating the Vision and Making It Happen. Development Services and MRA and the future and present and upcoming projects in the city of Missoula. And then February 26th, Missoula County. What does the county do differently than the city? What are the joint ventures, such as Animal Control and Health Department? And we have the county commissioners are going to come, and Tyler Grenant will also be there, and it'll be held at the county courthouse. And then on our final, all about taxes, March the 5th, all about taxes. How do we pay for all of this stuff? And we will have the Finance Department, Dale Bickle, who is the Chief Administrative Officer, will be there, and we'll have City Council members there. And I know that Gwen Jones and Heather Harp have at neighborhood meetings, have brought pies in.
Oh, yeah, that pie
charts.
game
Yeah.
where you say how much you want to spend in what area.
But actually, they put little flags in to show how much we do spend and where the money goes to.
Right.
And then when that's over, you get to eat the pie. So that's been a lot of fun. So we have an application that is on the Office of Neighborhoods website, which you can find. Do I need
You
to
might put
say-
it up. It's on a tab there. I would suggest people Google it just because
Okay.
it gets so.
There we
but,
go.
You know, I just Googled it and I got to this page
Yeah.
featuring you in a beautiful banner.
Okay, that's
And
it.
would that lead people to the Citizens Academy sign up?
Yes, right under Office of Neighborhoods.
Oh,
it
yes,
says
on the
Local
top.
Government Citizens Academy, and there's a link.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we are taking applications, and we have a committee who is going to look at the applications, consisting of community forum members and 2 city council members, Gwen and Heather.
Right.
And so we're really looking forward to that. The application closes on December 28th.
Coming up. And is there a charge or a fee?
No charge. No,
That's
it's
great.
sponsored by Community Forum. They've used their own funding for this.
It's such a great
I think
idea.
it's a
There's
really great
so many
idea.
moving pieces to any city's government. And, you know, it's easy for all of us to pound on the table, or, you know, we all have our hobby horses, whether it's potholes or, you know, whatever it is. But to understand what's involved in any process within the city it's complicated.
Right?
It's-
Oh, it is. And we're asking the presenters, we'll have handouts for everyone. We're asking them to make it interactive and fun for citizens. So I'm just so excited about this, and everybody has been so wonderful cooperating and helping out with this. It's just been
Oh, you
great.
got a wonderful program together. Now, you mentioned Iowa at the start. Is it because, was it Dubuque, the town?
Dubuque, yeah.
Was it because they had done a Citizens Academy that was pretty successful?
Yes, I go to national training with NeighborWorks
Yeah.
and got the chance to network with different people, and I ran into somebody who had put this on, and I said, oh, come here, I want to talk to
Yeah.
you, I want to know all about it. And he sent me everything, and I got some great ideas from him.
Oh, good.
So that was wonderful.
We talked about it a little bit at the MCTEC meeting this afternoon, and somebody said, well, I think one of the things they're going to teach is how to have public discourse with civility. And people thought that this was wonderful and timely.
There's a lot of
education.
big
But,
need for that.
Yeah, the art of disagreeing without, you know, running the other person down
Oh, that's fabulous,
specifically.
yes. City Council does have some ground rules which are posted outside of chambers, and I think when I do the introduction, I might kind of go over those ground rules so people can understand the perfect decorum for meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though sometimes, you know, I'm very envious of the Canadian and British
The British
format
Parliament.
when they all mutter around, blah, 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 you know, pound on stuff quietly. And they really have that down.
Yeah. But I think, you know, in addition to, you know, everybody agreeing to be civil and have a conversation with some ground rules, it's also important to understand the facts behind how things operate in order to have an intelligent conversation or to make change happen. I mean, Missoula, everyone likes to be so involved here that it's kind of the perfect place to do what you've been working on all this time.
Yes.
So.
Thank you, yes. And I'm really looking forward to citizens who attend this academy are able to go out and talk to their friends and
Yeah.
families and kind of let them know.
It'll
little
have a
bit
ripple
about it.
effect.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what we're looking for. So, and we're very happy that MCAT is going to come and record all
Yeah.
the sessions.
Oh, we are? Oh, that's
Yeah, we're
so
not
cool.
making a big deal of it because it's the next best thing, but it is not the best thing to actually signing up and going.
No, it'd be much more fun to be there in person.
Yeah, and
But-
ask questions and
Right.
everything, but that's true. There's a limit of, you can't have everyone.
Right.
So if people can't to manage to go for whatever reason, you know, whether it's full or they don't have the time, we'll have the 16 hours that people can watch on demand and so on.
And we're hoping to do this every other year.
I think that's brilliant.
And
There
then
was the police academy.
The police department, they have their academy
Yeah.
every other year, so
Yeah.
we'll be on the opposite year.
Oh,
So
that's
it just
perfect.
works out perfectly.
Yeah.
And it sounds wonderful for people that are interested in city government, city and county government, for teachers, if teachers are watching, that teach civics and things
Right.
like that, for people that run the various social clubs like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, that kind of thing, because sometimes at city council, you know, we'll see Boy Scouts are there, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts.
But even, and for like business owners
Yeah.
or, you know, because it's easy to just see your little piece of the pie and not see the bigger picture.
And I fear we haven't given people enough of a little overview, Jane. If you could say a little bit about what the Office of Neighborhoods does,
Right.
because people may not know about the community forum and the
Okay.
neighborhood councils and such.
Okay, the Office of Neighborhoods, we do a lot of things. There are three of us. There's myself, the neighborhood coordinator. We have a program assistant, Karen Gasfoda, and we have a work study student.
Nice.
So the neighborhoods, there are 20 of them. They have leadership team meetings, and then they have general meetings. And at the general meeting, the leadership team is elected. There's 5 to 7 people. And they look at what's going on in their neighborhood and try to improve things. And the purpose is to advise city council and the mayor on neighborhood and citywide issues and to increase civic engagement. So our office helps citizens do this. We train them, we teach them how to work within a confine of the restraints of city government, because all of the leadership team members are elected officials, even though they do voluntarily volunteer. And so we put on a community forum every month, fourth Thursday of the month, except November and December because of holidays. And we have one member from every neighborhood council comes, and they see presentations and they can vote on different things. We have grant money that we give to the neighborhoods, and they look at that. And then what's really fun is at the end of the meeting, we do a round table where every neighborhood goes around and says something about their neighborhood that they've been doing or working on, or a problem or something good. And it's really a great way for neighbors to network with people they would never ever meet any other way. And I just have to say, at this last community forum, we had 18 representatives, and there's one neighborhood that's not organized, and there's one neighborhood that has 2 people, so it was perfect attendance. First time we set a record.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're very happy about that.
What an ambitious and wonderful program it is, though, that there is this myth, that most Americans want to be left alone to watch television. And, well, we're in television, sorry. But but it's such an effort, to bring neighbors together and to bring information so that people understand what's going on in town, in the surrounding area too. And it's been around a goodly while, hasn't it? I can't remember how long.
It was approved by voters in 1997. So it
Yeah.
is really grassroots, because
21 years now.
It's in our Constitution that every 10 years,
the Government Study
voters
Commission.
are asked if they want to study their local government. And this is where it came from. The idea came from the Local Government Study Commission, and it was voted in by the citizens of Missoula. So it's not top down at all. It's definitely grassroots.
It's absolutely democracy in action.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. So thank you, Jane, for leading it so well all these years. And congratulations for getting
Your dream project
academy
is
come
happening.
true.
It's so
I'm
cool.
so excited about it. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here, too. I guess we better move along because Susan Hay-Patrick's out there and she's going to start to get mad. But thanks so much. And we'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the season of giving and remembering the neediest right after this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, look, we made like a Missoula in motion thing. Oh, man, I'm getting...
Nobody plans on getting a brain injury. When it happened to me, I didn't know where to turn.
When my son suffered a brain injury, the Brain Injury Alliance of Montana was there for us. I take comfort in knowing they will be there for him his entire life.
The Brain Injury Alliance of Montana is the only organization in the state dedicated exclusively to assisting survivors and caregivers. Visit our website to learn more about our services and how you can help.
Welcome to another edition of the Montana Department of Transportation's How to Drive a Roundabout. Cyclists should follow the same rules as vehicles. Yield upon approach. Enter when appropriate and take up the entire lane, as you would if you were a motorist. Nice, cowboy. Remember, do not ride on or near the apron like a bike lane, and do not stop in the circle. Oh no! That's the wrong way. Following these instructions, you'll have no problem navigating the new roundabouts popping up all around Montana. Welcome to another edition of the Montana Department of Transportation's How to Drive a Roundabout. Oversized vehicles and vehicles with trailers may straddle both lanes while driving through a roundabout. Stay a safe distance behind trucks because they will usually use both lanes. Most roundabouts will include a truck apron, a raised section of pavement around the central island that allows them to travel on the roundabout without using both lanes. Trailers should use the truck apron if available. Looking good. Remember, do not crowd these vehicles. Rather, give them the room needed in order to safely drive through the roundabout. Oh no! That's the wrong way. Following these instructions, you'll have no problem navigating the new roundabouts popping up all around Montana.
Oh, we are.
We are. Now we're back.
Well, okay, so some people have been saying that maybe they've seen the Montana Department of Transportation, how to navigate a roundabout.
It's not that complicated.
I think we should get paid more for showing this to Missoulians. So.
Yeah, it's true. We should get a little more government funding for just that service.
Right. Well,
yes.
Susan Hay-Patrick is here. She is the CEO of the United Way of Missoula County. Welcome and thank you.
Thank
so much for having me. I always love seeing you both.
When you were last here, you were doing that super exciting hero fundraiser where people rappelled, including yourself. Congratulations.
Oh, the Superman thing. Oh my gosh.
Off the First Security Bank building.
This June.
Was it terrifying?
Only when you, at the very beginning, you're all in your harness and you're holding on to this little pole and standing on a tiny strip of metal, and the guy says, "Sit back." Really? And then it was easy.
Oh, let me move the mic. I feel so dumb.
Oh, right.
Sorry, people at home.
And thrilling, I bet.
It was thrilling. And I have a lifelong fear of heights, so I was very proud of myself.
Wow, you really should be.
Yes. And I think all of you should do it. It's called Over the Edge.
Yes.
And it's Saturday, June 8th this year, the same day as Missoula County Public Schools graduation. So we're encouraging people to, have a little rush.
Take a leap.
Keep them awake during the 3-hour ordeal of watching.
Mark Twain to do it.
Oh,
yeah, because
since he's retiring,
right.
It would be perfect.
It could be his final act, in fact.
Give him a cape or something.
It does seem really safe, and it's a great way for people to get other people to raise money for a good cause, right? Yes. Because each person rappelling has been sponsored by X, Y, and Z.
I was surprised by how many people wanted to see me go off a tall building. I didn't quite know what to think about that.
Right.
Even loved ones.
And
we've been waiting for this for years.
Yeah.
Well, would you indulge the viewer who may not know about United Way? Maybe they don't see the banners that are on the bridge and stuff.
Or they've heard the term United Way for years and years and years, but they're not quite clear.
Yeah, that's true.
We have, I'm told, the brand has one of the highest brand recognition quotients in the world.
I believe
top
that.
100 brands, but considerably less people know actually what it is that we do. So I just say we build a better community, especially in the areas of education, financial stability, and health, those essential building blocks for a good quality of life. And I think what we really do, I would say better than anybody, is bring everybody to the same table to identify problems in education, financial stability, and health, figure out creative, effective solutions, implement those solutions, evaluate them, and move forward together. You had two wonderful guests on earlier, Amy Allison from the PAV and Captain Josh Boyd from the Salvation Army. And they are extraordinary leaders doing great work for their organizations. I think what we try to do is prevent people from falling into trouble in the first place. Because we are not going to Poverello Center our way and Salvation Army our way to the end of hunger and homelessness,
Right.
or food bank our way. We need to be providing help for people today, but we need to be walking upstream and preventing people from getting into trouble in the first place. So our issues that we work on with the faith community, the business community, individual donors, both hospitals, the school district, anybody who is interested in building a better community. So we are the principal private sector champion of the 10-year plan to end homelessness, Reaching Home. We raise funds for it. It's housed now. It was incubated at United Way. Now it's housed in the City Office of Housing and Community Development.
Right, Erin
But-
P. Fowler is
Yes,
doing it,
yes.
and she really cut her teeth on the paw.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we raise money and champion it in the private sector and find money for things that the public sector might not necessarily have the funds to do. In the health arena, we are the leader of Project Tomorrow Montana, our community suicide prevention initiative, and Let's Move Missoula, which is our childhood obesity prevention initiative. We have a new aspect of that called 5210. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Not yet.
No.
So we encourage people to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, have no more than 2 hours of recreational screen time, which is a great
that's a tough
contributor
one.
to obesity.
Yes.
1 hour of moderate to vigorous physical activity, and then 0 sugar-sweetened beverages. 5210.
Wow, it's easy to
And
remember.
It's easy to remember, and I just came today from the kickoff of our 5210 coalition. You'll see those posters, you'll hear more about it, because families are interested, they are eager to figure out how to get their kids eating better and moving more, and we want to give them make the right choice the easy choice.
Right.
So, and then also Project Tomorrow Montana, which is, as you know, Montana has been always in the top 5 for suicide, currently number 1. And we are funding, we've trained over 4,000 Missoulians in how to recognize the signs of depression and mental health issues and suicidal ideation in their family members, their friends, their colleagues, and then what to do, how to reach out a hand of help and hope. Not just a little head pat and say you'll feel better when the weather changes, or, oh, we all get depressed sometime, but really how to get people in crisis the help that they need. And then finally, the thing that I'm most excited about, because it's a cheery, happy thing after you talk about suicide,
All that.
is our Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Oh, yeah.
That mails a free, high-quality, brand-new book once a month to all enrolled kids, 3,000 children in western Montana, once a month from the time they're born till the time they enter kindergarten at 5 years old. So by the time they get to kindergarten, they have a home library of up to 60 books that are all their own.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's really wonderful.
Really.
And that
I'd
really
forgotten
helps
about
with-
that. I had read about the Dolly Parton gift, I don't know, a month or 2 ago, and I was like, wow, that's really pretty amazing.
So we know that kids who enter kindergarten, if they've had access to Imagination Library, they have greater language skills and better social skills, and they're reading at grade level by 3rd grade at higher levels. So we know it works. We know in our country that 3rd grade reading is a big indicator of people's future success in school, in work, and in life. So we want to get them reading, and Dolly Parton has been just a wonderful citizen of our country and the world, and wants to bring that love of reading to all kids.
So you're facilitating that.
Yes, her foundation, the Dollywood Foundation,
Right.
pays for all the books, and our United Way pays for the postage and handles the enrollment. It's super easy if your viewers have kids 0 to 5, grandchildren, nieces or nephews, just imaginationlibrary.org or MissoulaUnitedWay.org and enroll.
I have
Takes about 2
I have a
minutes.
little friend who's getting them in the mail, and she
Oh,
got
yeah.
The Little Engine That Could, just
Yes,
a few
yes.
weeks ago.
Oh,
It was
that's
very
a favorite.
exciting.
There is still something exciting about getting a book in the mail with your name on it when you're a little kid. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it costs, if people are, it's free to all the participants, but if your viewers were interested in that as a holiday giving idea, it's just $30 to send a book a month to a child for a year.
Wow,
That's a
really
great
great.
thing to be
So
able to
you
do.
could give the gift of reading for
Yeah.
just $30.
And they could do that by going to your website?
Yes, MissoulaUnitedWay.org.
Excellent.
So speaking of holiday giving, so are there any special ways that people can become involved with United Way this
Sure.
time of year?
So at this time of year, I think we are all acutely aware of the abundance that we're blessed with and how that's not the case for so many of our neighbors. So, and this has been a tough year for the nonprofit sector. I like to talk about the whole sector, not just about my own organization, but to think about our whole community. I think an election year is difficult because people are giving so many of their contributions to political causes and candidates. Changes in the tax code, there's a lot of uncertainty.
heard. Yes.
I know that our own giving so far is down, and I imagine that's the case for many of our partner agencies.
Yeah.
The budget cuts at the state level really hit hard
They sure
at our
did.
local nonprofits. So I would just say to people, give to something. You'll feel better and you'll make a big difference. So search out the programs that really resonate with you, whether it's kids or animals or seniors, the arts. Just give to something.
Yeah.
Altruism feels better than narcissism,
right.
right?
Absolutely
Especially
true.
at this time of year. So what I'm really asking for people to think about, your guests previously talked about, the warming shelter for our most vulnerable citizens. We cannot, in Missoula, Montana, have people dying on the street during the winter. So United Way is starting a fund to raise money for the warming shelter as part of our work with Reaching Home, Missoula's 10-year plan to end homelessness. We are asking our donors to earmark gifts to us that we will pass along to the Salvation Army and their partners. We need to train people. You know, you don't just open a shelter and call it
No, I
good.
guess
So there's money for training. So that would be a great way to support the community. I mentioned Imagination Library. And then Project Tomorrow Montana. I think the holidays are a very difficult time for many people who are feeling lonely and disconnected. And Project Tomorrow, I said we've trained over 4,000 Missoulians.
That's an amazing number.
We want to continue that training, and we want to train trainers so that they have that ripple effect so that they can go out in the community and train other people so that we have a mighty army of people willing to reach out that hand of help, hope, connection, affection to people. Suicide is never the only answer, but so many people feel that it is. And we say preventing suicide is everybody's business, and we want Missoulians to join us in making it their business too. So we cannot keep in stock our suicide prevention resource cards that list local and national resources. So printing costs, media, calling attention to resources.
Yeah.
On the website, if people go to your website, is there a donate button that
Yes.
will accept the credit,
yes.
debit?
Why, yes,
and
there is.
all
Thank
that?
you, Joel.
There they're showing.
Oh, and it lists
Yeah.
move on the 5
Right.
to 10.
You know
Your
what
Tomorrow Matters.
I think is so ironic is that there is a big trend right now among funders and grant givers for partnerships.
Yes.
And United Way is the original partner for everybody. I mean,
Thank you. I think that is something, we have to get out of our silos.
Right.
I
Yeah.
joke, none of us like to admit that we're in silos, so I call them our cylinders of excellence.
That's right.
Excellent way
And,
of putting it.
there's a great African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that really is something that we believe in and preach and practice at United Way. We collaborate. It's not always easy. The root of the word collaborate is labor.
Right.
It takes time. You need to build trust. But we get so much more accomplished for our community when we work together, where everybody has a role to play, and we're moving forward like a coordinated SWAT team rather than just a bunch of lone firefighters.
Yeah, good point. I remember,
true.
that MCAT's going to move into the new library with the
There's
Children's
collaboration
Museum
right
and
there.
the Spectrum. Well, Holly Truitt, who, is overseeing the Spectrum for BIG,
Yes, the Broader Impacts.
Broader Impacts Group, we're all meeting to get schooled in collective impact, which came out of a Stanford University study.
Absolutely.
And its theory was the complex social problems in society are not going to be solved by these single one-off
Right.
agencies, as you're saying. That you can, unless you come together as a group to try to get a 360 surround on certain complex problems like addiction, like homelessness, like suicidal ideation, and so on, it's just not nearly as successful as when groups can work together. And
the other aspect of that United Way, your approach is so brilliant, is that none of these issues are all alone and solid.
Right,
You can't
absolutely.
address homelessness without addressing a whole other mental health issues, all sorts of
Economic
other issues.
There is
opportunity.
no one single reason your previous guest talked about.
Right.
Yeah. So the fact that you have this multifaceted approach to creating a healthy community seems to make so much sense.
It seems
really does.
it's the only thing that really makes sense because I said earlier, we have a wonderful food bank. We have a great homeless shelter. We have a strong Salvation Army. We are very good at helping people after they fall out of the boat in our community and in our country. We need to be better at keeping them in the boat.
Yeah.
It's not as easy
to
to prevent hunger as it is to feed a hungry person, but it's important.
Yeah, and I think the community is of that size where people have an opportunity to care and act on that caring. Studies have been done, someone stooges in a subway car. So the subway car is completely full and someone feigns an illness and falls to the ground. The amount of time it takes for the group to decide they're going to help that person is enormous. When there's 10 people in the subway car and the stooge falls to the ground, takes maybe 15 seconds, someone's going to help. And when there's 2 people in the subway car, help is instantaneous.
Right.
But everyone always thinks somebody else is going to do it.
There you're right.
That's a brilliant analogy.
Yeah, because you feel the personal responsibility.
Right.
It's just you.
And that's what we need to all feel.
Yeah.
That communitarian head, that we all do well when we all do well. And we all suffer when the least among us suffer. I really, truly believe that. None of us wants to live in a community where people are dying on the street, going hungry, kids are dropping out of school, people are taking their own lives. I mean, we all have a stake in that.
Yeah. Oh, I can only sigh at this point. I guess we should go, but thank you so much.
So the parting
for
message
coming.
is give.
The parting message is
now,
give.
yes.
Can I throw in one more holiday idea? So many people are calling me and asking what they can do at Thanksgiving to help people. Their families are gathering. Is there a family project? We're asking people to put together what we call comfort kits in Ziploc bags that think about travel-sized toiletries, hand warmers, chapstick, feminine hygiene products, socks, and we're collecting those on behalf of the YWCA, which is in charge of that aspect of our annual Project Community Connect, which Amy talked about a little bit.
That's coming up again.
That will be in actually February 1st.
Okay.
One day, one-stop shopping for people experiencing homelessness or on the edge where they can get all kinds of service. And there really is, faces light up when someone on the street or someone living in a motel has some of those items that they need to keep themselves clean and warm. So we'd love to encourage people to go out and buy those supplies, and after your Thanksgiving dinner, pack up a few gallon Ziploc bags.
That's perfect.
And bring them to the YWCA.
Spread the word to bring toiletries, all the stuff that you need and use every day. Bring new little
like a little comfort pack. Imagine someone you care about is traveling a long distance. What would you put
Be a
in
nice
that?
thing to do at the Thanksgiving table.
Yeah, that does sound really nice.
So that's my parting idea.
Okay, it's a good
Thank
one.
you, Susan, so
Yeah.
much
Thank you
for
so
everything
much for all
you
you
do.
do.
Thank you.
Likewise, and thank you, dear viewer, for taking in this edition of Missoula Live. We'll be back Monday, December 2nd, with a new program. I think we'll continue our theme,
Yes.
of remembering the neediest on December 2nd.
It's a good idea.
And danger, my mother's going to be in town.
Oh, can she come on the show?
We'll just see about
Get her
that.
on the show.
We'll
That would be
see
so
about
much fun.
Okay. Well, for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.